So that we can share it with our friends. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Melissa Stansel. I'm a 25K My Daily Choice representative, and I've been with MDC now for almost 3 years. And I'm super excited for this month because there's so much going on. It's so exciting. So I wanted to talk to you tonight. My tip for you tonight is how to make new friends using my FLO method. I got the flow going on. So let me tell you about my flow. All right. So what I want you to envision yourself at a party. It might be a cocktail party, it might be a PTA meeting, it might be a Halloween party, but all of a sudden you find yourself at a table. Maybe it's a coffee table, maybe it's a cocktail table, maybe it's a couch with a total stranger. What are you going to say? How are you going to get to know this total stranger at a cocktail party? Right? So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to find out, like, what do we have in common? How do we know each other? How do we both end up at this party? Well, it's Bob's party. How do you know Bob? That's a great way to open a conversation. Is we always have mutual friends with somebody. How do you know the mutual friend that we have in common? You can also look at their profile and see that they have pictures of kids. Normally, I'm looking for people who are like me, who are usually moms, and I can say, "Hey, I got 3 kids. How about you? Do you have kids too? How old are your kids?" So are you seeing how this works? I mean, this is the same way we do it on social media. You want it to be kind of the same way you actually behave as a human being. Okay. Don't be spammy. Don't be salesy. Don't be weird. Just be a person and get to know that person. So, friends and family is usually what I start with. It's usually a great opening where you can really get to know somebody and find out where, how do we know each other? How did we connect? Okay. The next thing I usually go to next is location. Where are you from? Always make sure that you're offering information about yourself too, because if you're just asking questions about them, you might seem like a little bit like a weird stalker. So my statement is usually something like, "Hey, I live in the North Wilmington area in Delaware. I see that you also live in Wilmington. Do you live in my neighborhood? Maybe we've met in person somewhere. Where do you live? I live in," maybe they say they live in Michigan because we're on Facebook. They could live anywhere. And then I can say, "Oh my God, I have an uncle in Michigan. He lives in Detroit. Where, how about you? Is that the area that you live in?" Talk about your location. Where do you live? So friends in common, family, that's the F. L, location. Talk about your location. The next thing I always talk about is I get to the O. We always want to talk about our business, but we don't want to talk about it in a salesy, spammy way. So I always say, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" "I am a hairdresser and I sell CBD oil on the side. That's what I do. What do you do for a living?" We also have the added benefit at the cocktail table. You don't know anything about this person. You have to ask a lot of questions. The benefit of social media is you can also stalk their Facebook profile. Take a look at what you see on their profile and say, "Oh my God, I also have a Dalmatian or a 10-year-old boy or a camping trailer. I also like to camp. I also like to hike." Figure out what you have in common and then talk about those commonalities. The one thing that I usually do in the very beginning when I am doing it on social media is I like to wave to people. When they accept my friend request, I use a little GIF, "Hi," because it's friendly. That's what you do in person. You wouldn't just say, "Hi, my name is Melissa and I sell CBD oil. What do you do?" You got to be more personable. You got to be a real person, have a real conversation, get to know people. So when I do this, you always have to be building your network. You've always got to be adding friends to your network. You can't count on building a business and ranking and meeting your goals with only the friends and family that you already know. So what I recommend that you do is that you do this every single day. So the way my day goes is I do friend requests in the morning. I use suggested friends. I might go into groups that I already am a part of, or I might actually go and find someone else that I follow and find other people that follow that same person. So that's 3 different ways that you can find new friends. Send friend requests in the morning. As they accept, wave, Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for accepting my friend request. I saw you in Suggested Friends, the Autism Moms group. I saw that you also follow somebody. However you found them, tell them how you came across their profile and then start the flow. What do you have in common? Do you have friends in common? Do you have family members in common? Location, where do you live? The other thing that I love to do in location too is I'll say, I live in the same area. You look so familiar to me. Where do you work? Maybe we've come across each other before. That flows right into the occupation. So then you can say, find out where they work. I'm also a hairdresser and I sell CBD oil on the side. Now, the one thing that I like to do is I like to make deposits to this new friendship. I have a rule, and it's the three before me rule. So I like to give you 3 engagements with me before I pivot to an offering or an opportunity. So I'm going to comment on your posts. I'm going to engage with you in Messenger, and I'm going to make deposits to those friendships before I make that withdrawal of, would you like to take a look at my group? Would you be interested in taking a look at my product? Would you be interested in learning about my opportunity? Those are the things that you're going to be able to pivot to after you've made the deposits into the friendship. You've become a person to them first. Often I will find when we get to that occupation and I let them know that I'm in the legal cannabis industry, sometimes that will foster questions right out of the gate because they're like, oh my God, you know about this stuff? I've been hearing all about this stuff. How do I learn more about this stuff? Now you've opened the doorway for them to know that you are an authority that they can ask questions to. Now, when you're making all these new friends, you've got to stay organized. You have to write down who you're engaging with. Now, I'll be honest, I do not write down every single time I click on add friend on a total stranger. What I do write down is when they engage with me, they've accepted, and I start a conversation right away. I do recommend that you start the conversation right away because if you see it in your notifications, you'll forget to go back and comment and engage with them if you don't do it right away. The other thing that I do, I not only write down all the people that I engage with every single day, and I'm a busy mom with multiple jobs. I do all my tracking at the end of the day. I go back through Messenger and write down every single person that I talked to today. That then becomes my follow-up list for another day. I indicate if they're new, so I know that I need to make deposits to that friendship. I also utilize friends lists. Friends lists are a great way in Facebook to keep yourself organized and to keep your potentials organized. Now, there's 2 different ways that you can find out about friends lists. One, you can Google it. Google is your friend. Anything you want to know, you can find on Google. 2, November 16th, there's going to be a team leader training that you can qualify for. And during that team leader training, my topic that I'm going to be training on is friends lists. So get together with your ranked leader and find out what you need to do to qualify for that. And I'm going to teach you more about friends lists then. All right, so now I have homework for you. Tomorrow is going to be a 24-hour blitz. I want you to use what I've just taught you to be able to grow your network tomorrow. So what I want you to do in the morning is start off with 5. Do 5 friend requests as soon as you get up in the morning. Engage, not everybody is going to accept, but the ones that do, I want you to engage with them throughout the day as if you were at a cocktail party. Wave to them, send them a little funny gift because that's warm and inviting and welcoming. Introduce yourself, tell them it's nice to meet them. How did you come across their profile? Use the flow. Talk about the friends and family you have in common, talk about their location, talk about your occupation. Now, because this is a blitz, I want you to do it 3 times tomorrow. That's potentially 15 new leads that you could have by the end of the day. Not all of them are going to accept. If you find no one in your first 5 accepts, an hour or 2 later, do 5 more. I don't want to tell you to go do 20 because if too many people do accept, you can't manage meaningful conversation with too many people at one time. So take it in small chunks, do 5 in the morning, 5 in the early afternoon, and 5 again in the evening. And that could potentially give you 15 new contacts to help you grow your business. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. It is our 10 minutes, but I will stay on for another minute to answer questions. Let me stop the recording. Yes.